Paul, how do you help companies with bid proposals?
We work with clients to make sure that their bids are clear and compelling, that they look great, and that they're defect-free.
Do many companies need this help?
Oh, they sure do. We've seen this with our own clients, but we've also talked to bid procurement specialists, some of whom award annual contracts in the hundreds of millions of dollars, and they tell us they can't believe the basic mistakes that companies make when they're bidding. And I'm not just talking about small companies. These are financial institutions, large consulting and law firms, telecommunications and IT companies, and companies who manage and maintain large infrastructure assets such as airports or highway networks.
What do you focus on?
First thing we think about is the bid strategy, and also ensuring that the bid really clearly reflects the client's needs. We've had, again, procurement people tell us that one of the most common mistakes that companies make is jumping right in to their offering and not clearly expressing and understanding some real insight beyond what's in the RFP of the needs that the client faces.
Okay, what else is important?
Well, a bid, as I've said, needs to be clearly written. It needs to be responsive to the needs. It needs to be compliant. It needs to have positioning and key messaging. And it also needs to have charts and illustrations and graphs, and each of those needs a benefits-oriented takeaway for the client. And then finally, it needs to be designed and laid out so that it's attractive.
Is design really important in a bid?
Design is important. The aim is not to look pretty. The aim is to reduce the effort it takes to evaluate the bid. When you think about it, an evaluator brings a fixed amount of energy to the bid evaluation process. Why burn that off with poor topography and a confusing layout?
Why do large, smart companies make these kinds of errors?
Well, there are a number of reasons. In some cases, the bid process itself, the bid production process, is flawed. And then beyond that, technical people often have difficulty writing clearly and plainly about what it is that they do. We all have a challenge to put ourselves in the client's shoes and see things from a client perspective. We can help our clients with that. And then, of course, there's always time pressure. There's huge time pressures when these bids are assembled. But then that goes back to the process, having a good process.
What about the presentation stage?
Well, the presentation stage is a separate challenge. I should say that bid proposals really have two purposes. One is to get the client shortlisted, but the second is to ensure the client is the front runner at the presentation stage. That lets you focus on building a relationship during that presentation rather than getting bogged down in questions of clarification that may be confusing the evaluators. So those are the two reasons, those are the two purposes of a bid proposal.
So now we're shortlisted. What are the biggest issues with the presentation stage?
I would say there are three. The first is too many slides. The second is focus on facts and statistics. And the third is not looking like a team.
How many slides are too many?
Fewer than you think. We recommend you take 2 minutes per slide. So if you have a 1-hour presentation, we recommend no more than 30 slides. And we have had clients in previous bids take a deck of as many as 200 slides into a 1-hour presentation.
Aren't facts and statistics important?
Sure, they're important. The problem is that they're not memorable. And also the proposal is full of numbers. What you want to do at the presentation stage is tell stories. Tell success stories that let you include your facts, but also allow you to show how you're going to bring the solution alive for the client and lets you infuse your presentation with passion. It also lets you give credit to all of the people in the field who've actually delivered the service. So you really want to focus on stories rather than facts and statistics during the bid presentation.
You mentioned looking like a team. Tell us more about that.
You can blow it simply by not looking like a team, especially if your bid is a partnership between two companies. So we've had procurement specialists say that the team looked like it flew in from different corners of the country on the morning of the presentation. We recommend that you get together in a hotel for 2 or 3 days before, run through the presentation, have some conversations about how you're going to hand things off, not in the presentation, but in the actual work itself. Make sure that you look like a seamless team because the client wants a seamless solution at the end.
Sounds like a lot of moving pieces.
there are a lot of moving pieces, and there's also high stakes involved, which is why clients choose us to help them navigate the process.